The fact that Suge Knight was the nightmare of the early rap industry can never be overemphasized. He was very dangerous and feared by many. People would do whatever it took to stay out of his way. However, although many feared him, several people didn't care for Suge and his threats. Eazy E was one of those people, and this caused the duo to clash a lot. They were constantly at each other's throats, and it was only a matter of time before one ended up 6 feet under. Keep watching till the end of this video to see why Suge Knight was really behind Eazy E's death. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Suge Knight and Eazy E's relationship. Suge Knight is one of the most notorious gangsters. He was raised in Compton, known for its high rate of gang activity and extreme violence. Suge was even constantly called the most notorious bully of the rap game, so it was no surprise he became a figure to be feared. He made a name for himself when he co-founded the infamous Death Row Records, alongside Dr. Dre and Dick Griffey in 1991. The record label produced famous rappers like Tupac, Snoop Dogg, among others. But before Death Row became what it was, Suge had to put up a fight with fellow Compton rapper and music executive, Eazy E. Many people thought the two music execs would get along just fine, but that wasn't the case. In fact, the relationship between Suge and Eazy E turned out to be one of the greatest rivalries in the rap industry. Eazy E co-founded the rap group NWA. The group was signed under the Ruthless record label, and the famous group released classical projects like Straight Outta Compton. Eazy E was the most successful member of the NWA group, and being the owner and founder of a record label at the time, it was easy for him to never allow anyone to bully him until Suge came along. While everyone trembled at Suge's feet, some people like Eazy E found it easy to stand their ground. But not everyone could do that forever. Eazy E started as one of the people who never feared Suge, but all that changed when Suge had his eyes on Dr. Dre, one of Eazy E's best rappers at the time. Suge Knight and Eazy E's beef. After a while of going back and forth about monetary issues within the record label, the rappers signed to Ruthless record label, such as Dr. Dre and the DOC, soon became at loggerheads with the execs, and they wanted out. Now we all know just how crucial these record label contracts can be, so it wasn't easy for these rappers to get out, but they soon figured a way out, and it was one that nobody would dare to stop. It didn't take a while before Suge came for Eazy E's rappers. According to Eazy E, Suge tried to destroy Ruthless Records by asking Dr. Dre to quit the record label and join him in forming his own record label. It was easy for Dr. Dre to agree to this at the time, especially since he already had issues with Ruthless, when he claimed that the manager, Jerry Heller, only looked after Eazy E and neglected the other members of the record label. With everyone on the Ruthless record label feeling this way, they all wanted out and were ready to terminate their contract. On the contrary, with Dr. Dre being the most famous and biggest asset of Ruthless at the time, Eazy E refused to let him out of the label. And well, let's just say this didn't fit into Suge's plans at all, so he had to act on it. The battle for Dr. Dre soon began, and Suge wasn't going to lose at any cost. According to Eazy E, Suge pulled up to him at the recording studio and told him to sign the release contract. Unfazed by Suge's threats, Eazy E refused to sign. But unknown to him, Suge had other deadly ways of negotiating. With armed goons standing by his side with metal pipes and baseball bats, Suge informed Eazy E that he had already kidnapped Jerry Heller and was sitting in his van, waiting for Eazy E to judge his fate. But that wasn't all. Suge went as far as threatening Eazy E's mother. He brought out a piece of paper with Eazy's mom's home address and said, "I know where your mama stays. You're gonna sign this releasing Dre and the DOC from Ruthless." Eazy said in an interview that, at that point, I figured either I'd sign the papers, get my kicked, or fight them. Eazy E signed the release form, and Dr. Dre later joined Suge at Death Row and made millions for Suge with his multi-platinum solo debut, The Chronic. With this act, it was obvious that it was all a war between Suge and Eazy, and they were determined to go after each other's lives. However, the co-founder and manager of Ruthless Records, Jerry Heller, revealed in an interview that it was he who stopped Eazy from taking Suge Knight out. Stating the words of Eazy E, Jerry said, One day I came into the office and one of my clients and Eazy E were talking, and I said, "What's going on here?" And Eazy said, "You know this guy Suge Knight?" And I said, "Yeah." Eazy went ahead and said, "Well, I'm gonna kill him. This guy's gonna be a problem, and I think I should kill him." Fortunately, Jerry was able to talk Eazy out of it. Unfortunately, Eazy wasn't the only one to kill, as he later died of AIDS at 30. Rumor has it that Suge might have set him up with someone who infected him, leading to his death. Suge Knight accused of killing Eazy E. The co-founder of Ruthless Records told the world in an official statement that he had contracted AIDS. This news came as a shock to everyone in the rap industry. Though everyone knew how deadly AIDS was, what they didn't understand was how Eazy E was fine one day and was dead the next. Bone Thugs, in an interview with Angela Yee, claimed that the whole situation was sketchy, as Eazy didn't show any symptoms of his deteriorating health when he passed away, so it wouldn't be a wild guess to assume that somebody actually took him out. Ruthless Records manager Jerry Heller also expressed how confused he felt, and how he finds it difficult to accept that Eazy died of AIDS. He said he had, I think, 11 children with 8 different women. 2 of the children, I think, were born after he died. None of the mothers were HIV positive. None of the children were HIV positive. The fact that people kept pointing fingers at Suge for the death of Eazy E was merely speculation until Suge came out of prison in 2003 and went to Jimmy Kimmel's show and spoke about the issue. He said, "This new thing, right? So if somebody gonna do something to somebody, technology is so high, right? So if you shoot somebody, you go to jail forever. Kids, you don't want to go to jail forever, right? So they got this new thing out. People sell them all the time. They get this stuff they get blood from somebody with AIDS, and then they shoot you with it. That's the slow death."
They get blood from somebody with AIDS,
yeah,
and then they shoot you with it.
Oh,
so
well, that seems bad.
That's a slow death.
It may have been a subtle admission of truth, but this statement from Suge was the confirmation people needed to justify that Eazy was murdered and his death was no coincidence. Immediately after this interview, Eazy's son, Young Eazy, took to his Instagram and said, "I've been known my pops was killed. His death never added up to what people have always said. Maybe they think we're idiots, blind to the truth, I don't know. But for you new fans, youngsters, and people who just don't know much, notice on #StraightOuttaCompton, Eazy did not get sick until after the studio incident with Suge. And look how he acknowledged and admits on this interview with #Jimmy Kimmel, injecting people instead of shooting them is a new thing. That's done. The truth is out there. It's just blinded by the fact that Eric had a lot of." That's the end of today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more content. Thanks.